Hi, welcome to Classic Car Cave. I won't be putting a video up this Sunday because I have to go up to Vienna. My wife's found an apartment that she can rent for 4 to 6 weeks while we sort out the well, not a flood, but the water damage that we had in our apartment, and I'm going to help her move into there while they're getting on with the building work. So I thought I'd put one up earlier. So I went to Grille in Graz and picked up the chrome, these hockey sticks for here, and they've done a lovely job. They've got rid of the holes where I wanted them on the side here, and they just left the top one, which is where the top piece goes on, and they fit perfectly, so very, very happy with that. Go down there. So that's going to work. That's going to work perfectly. But I can't put these on until I've got the rubber that goes right across the top where this fur flex goes on, and I'm ordering that this week. The reason I haven't ordered it earlier is I wanted to try and get two or three different parts from S&G Barrett in Holland, rather than getting it in dribs and drabs, because it costs to bring it backwards and forwards. And there's no massive rush on it, although I want to get on with this now. The Mini 1100 is 99% there or 95% there. So these are the two that are done, and as you can see, they've made a beautiful job with the chrome. I think you can see there, not a mark on them, and obviously it's the same on the other side. So very happy with them. And the total cost of these being de-chromed, bent, finished, the other one being cut in half, on the driver's side, being cut in half and rebrazed and cleaned and re-chromed, was 330 euros. But like I say, when you buy these, if you buy these, you don't have them with the car or they've been destroyed, they're around about 800 or 900 euros for the pair, about 450 a side, I think, something like that. And that's in brass. They don't come chromed unless you buy them as a second-hand set. So I've got the one for the other side. I've tried that, and that works great as well. So we can start thinking about putting them on. But like I said, I've got to put this. I think it's called a Ramsey seal. I don't know why it's called that, but apparently it's called a Ramsey seal, which goes down onto the A pillar, up and around and right the way over. But it has to attach to this fur flex, which we put on the car first, and then you put it on, and then the chrome sits above it, I believe, or in between it. There's like a lip inside it. So I'll show you that when that comes. I also brought back the Citroen Grille, and I'll explain what the situation is with that. The grill back from Grille. I tried just giving it a little bit of a clean up to see how much brass there is in there. And basically what they've said is that they don't want to attempt to do this. I even asked them, would they be prepared to dip it in the acid and clean it for us, because obviously if we're going to paint this, we don't want the chrome on it, and they won't even do that. So my thinking is that they believe it's, because I mean, I explained to them obviously the vehicle doesn't have a high monetary value, and maybe they're scared that it's going to cost so much that they won't get their money back on it, or it's too fiddly or whatever. There are a lot of broken parts on it, which I'll bring in and show you. So I'm not sure what to do. One of the things I'm definitely going to do, because it has to be done regardless of what I do with this grill, is I'm going to take, I think this stuff is aluminium or it's galvanized, this chevron that's in here, and they worked as holders for the main grills. So I'm going to gingerly take this out, because it has to be cleaned separately anyway, and then see what we can do. I kind of get a feeling, the lady that's the receptionist said the guy wasn't there and he couldn't explain, so it seemed a bit awkward to me, and she couldn't explain it. She said, I don't know technically why. The feeling I have is the reason that they're not keen to do it is I think they've checked it and realised that the brass the brass in it isn't good enough. Now in 1936 or 30, whatever this car came out, maybe the brass content was very low, and they used to have a thing called pig iron, where they used all different materials and smelted it all together, and there was a lot of flaws and problems in it. And I guess this is what they think this is, and this is why they don't want to attempt it. Because they do stuff to such a high standard, they don't want to do a half-assed job. So they would rather, I think their policy is we either do it 100% right or we don't do it at all. Which is fair enough, it's their business, it's their name. But I kind of get the feeling that's what it is. I think the metal, or the amount of brass content in it is so low, and it's, like I say, they use this expression pig iron, and what they mean by pig iron is an amalgamation of all different metals and alloys, scrap, and there were a lot of cars had headlight fittings and headlamps and side lamps and rear lights made from this pig iron, and it just corroded over time and pitted. Anybody who does classic cars will explain or will tell you the same thing. So I think that's the main reason they didn't want to touch it. So as I say, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out these chevrons. We'll have a look and see what the situation is. If it's repairable, I'll repair it, and if not, what I might have to do is modify it. I might have to modify, you know, if I can't get these straight or they're in too bad condition, these main veins. I don't want to destroy it, of course, but if I can keep these main veins, then I will. But they're in such a poor state in some places, and the bottom here is in particularly bad, as you can see there. It's in particularly bad condition. It's split, and it's very bad around here as well. So I think what we'll do is try and do our best to get it back to where it was. And I've got a local guy who teaches welding, and he can do brazing and soldering and everything else, and maybe we can get it back to where it should be. But as I said, unfortunately there's no there's no financial gain in doing this. It's just an ornament, and for what we've got into the Citroen pickup, it just doesn't come to any sense to spend, you know, 500, 1,000 euros on it. It just doesn't. So we'll try and do the best we can with this, and I'll let you know. I mean, as I said, I could modify it possibly. What I could do is maybe use the main shell here, and then take these out and put new stainless steel or chromed mesh in there, and do it that way. There's many alternatives. We don't have to just use one. So we'll see what happens with that, or you can see what happens with that over the next few months. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you was the reason I haven't ordered the rubber for the top of the windscreen is this is a speedo cable that SNG Barrett and Holland sent me, and they said this is the correct end. This is the correct end for the speedo head, but this is incorrect for that gear tag T5 or Tremac T5 gearbox. It's completely wrong. They sent me the wrong thing. So it looks to me like the square for the speedo head should be exactly the same on the gearbox itself. So I'll have to get that exchanged, but this is the right angle drive, so this would go onto the gearbox. So the idea is you'd put this onto the gearbox, the cable would come round from the speedo head onto this piece. It's just a little 90-degree drive, and you can see if I put that screw in there, you can see it obviously still operates. There. It's got a flex joint in it as well. Now whether I get a new one of those or not, I'm not quite sure, but it still works. So that's the next dilemma, is to try and find the right cable. So what we're going to have to do is go in there and measure it and use a micrometer and get it spot on so I know exactly what it is, and we can then move on and get the speedo working. Okay, so this is where I've got it so far. It's still not tightened down, but that's how it's looking. I've still got to put the screws back in there. It looks not bad. The screws are not in those top of those bins either. Got to do them. And there's only two in the top one there. because we've got to put the seat belts in when they come in June, and I don't want to take them all back out again because we know the seat belts fit. We measured them with the ones out of my Mini Cooper at the back there, so that's how it looks. I will look. I think all in all, not too bad compared to where it was. Still need to do some little bits and pieces just to make it 100%. So this is how it sounds. Idling a little bit fast, but nice. I think they'll be pretty happy with it when it's on the road. So to finish up, I've got the top down off the E-Type, uncovered it. I'm just going to kind of recommission it, just check all the oils, everything, check all the fluids on it and everything, and get it reinsured, and then it'll go through for another MOT. I haven't got this on historical plates for a few reasons, which I really won't go into at the moment, but I want to put this back on the road probably in May. We normally use it from May, June, July, August up till kind of September-ish, and then we take it off the road again. It's about 6 months of the year, 5-6 months. But we have a few trips planned this year, so I want to put it back on the road, and it's good to keep these cars moving. To keep them as museum pieces is not good. The seals dry out. It's not good for the cars, even if they're only run a matter of a few hundred kilometres a year. It's better than nothing, and obviously as frequently as you possibly can. So there are a few little bits and pieces I'm going to do on it before I put it back on the road again. I've just got to give it a really good tidy up. But generally, mechanically, it's sound, the car. There's no problems with it at all. So on that note, as I say, I just want to make a bit of an update because on Sunday I'm going to be in Vienna all day, and for the next few days after that, because as I said, we've got to move. My wife's going to move into this temporary apartment while these builders get together and decide if they're ripping the whole kitchen out, part of the kitchen out, all of the bedroom, all of the floors, and the apartment is around about 130, 140 square metres, and at least 60-70% of that is oak flooring, and obviously if they're taking one piece out, they're not going to be able to match it, and it's high quality stuff, as is the kitchen was. So now they've got to come to an agreement about what the insurance value will be. So we're lucky, we have a private insurance on the content and the building, and we also have a building insurance where all the owners of all the apartments club together and put money in every month to cover these eventualities, and luckily it's come to that situation that we're covered whatever the cost. There will be some small cost to ourselves, but more inconvenience and aggravation. So on that note, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care everybody.